Got the swampers playing down in Muscle Shoals, where the lady ain't down, gotta rest his soul. Southern rock, my saving grace. Country sounds.
Hi, I'm Tyra.
I'm Sarah, and this is All The Things. Every week, we hang out with musicians, artists, and creatives from the Shoals and beyond.
We talk about their music, their process, and anything else that comes up on the couch. And today we have Will McFarlane.
Woo! Will McFarlane!
I do. I love you, Will. I've known you for quite a while now, and I always say that you're a beautiful storyteller.
Yes.
I could sit there and listen to your stories forever.
Well, that's a delightful thought.
Yeah.
I like to under-promise and over-deliver. Don't set me up for failure here.
Yeah, but you are a good storyteller. Like one of the first times I met you, you talked about your wife, your
Yes.
beautiful wife.
I am a fortunate man.
You
Yes.
really are.
And like
really are.
when you were talking about her, I felt like I turned into that bunny character that's on cartoons, and all the little hearts are flying around her, and she's just like, oh, like, you know, like, it was so endearing.
Well, she's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes,
You did
she
good.
is. I did good.
You did good.
That's why I asked her to marry me the 11th day I was with her.
See, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy. Like you're going to have to tell us your secret, because on number 3, I'm going to make it last. Number 3 is going to get it.
Well, I think that the crazy one was her going, sure.
That would be me.
With what I've gone through now, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know about you.
So, Will, tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do in the
What do I
music
do?
biz?
Well, I play the guitar.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
And I consider myself just really fortunate in that way, too.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that somehow or another I've paid my bills all these years.
Yeah, so how did that get started? You know, a lot of artists that come on the couch, they're like, you know, I started at 2 years old or 3 years old. I mean, how did it begin with you?
Well, I loved music. I know that as a kid, there's pictures of me with my little cowboy guitar and my little
Aw.
Western shirt when I was like 4 before I knew anything.
Yeah.
And I just always loved music.
Yeah.
And apparently my mother, who died when I was 5, so I really didn't have any relationship with her. She was sick for a lot of it. But she apparently, my dad told me once, just always hummed or sang around the house,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah.
And she had perfect pitch. And she studied music at the University of Texas.
Oh, wow.
But as I said, that wasn't really a direct influence on me.
Yeah.
But there was something inside the whole
Yeah.
time. I remember right after she died, my dad was deployed. He was an active duty naval fighter pilot. He was on an aircraft carrier.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so I was sent to live with his sister and their family, who, by the way, she's still alive at 101.
Wow.
My dad's big sister.
Oh,
and
my
she's
gosh.
so sharp, calls me on my birthday. Hey, Will, how's Janet? How are the kids? I mean, totally.
What does she do?
She just has community.
Yeah.
You know, they've done
Man.
studies of these 100-year-old pockets
Yeah.
of people around the world, and some of them eat blubber up at the Arctic Circle, and some of them eat a Mediterranean diet in Sardinia,
Yeah.
and some of them eat sushi in Japan. But the one thing they all have in common is they have community.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about that a lot on the
Yeah.
show, how the Shoals is a special
a community.
of
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I truly love about this place is that I really feel that we really enjoy everybody's success. Like a rising tide floats every boat, and we're rooting
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
There's no jealousy,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, there really isn't. You know, I don't know any divas in this town. I don't think they'd survive.
No. Well, that's the thing. I think if you are a diva, you kind of get kicked out.
Yeah.
You know,
In a
just,
way,
just naturally.
Well, you just kind of like, okay, tuck your tail and go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so-
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever, that died a slow, painful death. But so when I was 6, there was a voice teacher in Texas, and she started giving me voice lessons. And I remember the first songs I learned. My favorite songs when I was 6 were "Dream Lover" by Bobby Darin.
Oh.
I love that song, and "The Battle of 1814" by Johnny Horton.
Yeah.
And she taught me Poison Ivy. I remember that, you know, comes on like a rose.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
could just imagine a 6-year-old kid going, and everybody knows. It must have been delightfully funny at my recital. But when I came back, my dad was remarried. He married while he was on tour to a woman who'd lost her fighter pilot husband.
Oh, wow.
And they just wham, you know. And she had 3 kids, and Dad had 2, me and my brother, and they had 1 together. So there were 6 kids, and she was very musical.
Okay.
Oh.
And she was beautiful. She looked like Debbie Reynolds, except prettier, you know, and had that 60s look, you know, where she had maybe the band behind the bangs in the band and the poof hair in the back and maybe a dippity-doo flip here and capri pants and flats. You know, she looked like a 60s movie star.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's what we're going for. That kind of look. Yeah.
Well, she did. She looked like a 60s movie star. And I was 7 when I met her, I guess, and just totally smitten by her. And she asked me right off the bat, would you like to learn to play the piano? And started giving me piano lessons when I was 7.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow. That's so sweet.
But I was never a good reader. My ear apparently was kicking in early. And she, you know, we'd be doing whatever, Schumann piano sonatas after a couple of years. And she'd play it for me and I'd get it in my head and I'd look a little at the music, but I'd learn the song and I'd come back and play it. But I'd be looking down and she'd try to cover my hands and do all this, but I just never became a good reader, but my ear always sort of bailed me out.
Yeah.
But when I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, that was February 9th, 1964.
Oh, man, he had the date. He had the date to it.
I know right when it was. And I wasn't allowed to watch TV. My dad was very into education, and Sunday night was a school night and no TV.
Yeah.
But I begged, I would have been apoplectic if I hadn't been able to see the Beatles. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that they were going to be on this? Okay.
Everybody
did.
did. They were rocking the world.
I wonder what the ratings were for that show.
No, it was just, and I almost couldn't hear them because all the girls were screaming so much. As a matter of fact, well, anyway, I just stood there in rapt attention, you know, watching these guys. And my dad was standing behind me, you know, sort of doing the dad thing. You like this? You call this music? You know, I mean, you want to look like that guy? You know,
I do.
And I was like, you know, and then I was visiting my grandmother just a little bit later than that. And when A Hard Day's Night came out. And I waited in line. I saw the opening night of Hard Day's Night and couldn't hear a word in the movie because all the girls were screaming through the whole movie. And so about a week later, we were driving along and said A Hard Day's Night at a little theater, and my grandmother took me to see it. And just my grandmother and I sat in this theater with about 10 people in the middle of the afternoon.
So you actually got to hear it.
And got to see A Hard Day's Night. But, you know, is the best of my ability. I couldn't play a bar chord at the time, but learned every Beatles song I could. And probably within 2 weeks in my little country day school, junior high, there were 3 bands, you know, within a couple of weeks or a month of that Beatles thing. And
they inspired everyone.
so I've been playing in bands and playing, you know, junior high dances and then high school dances and battles of the bands and things like that all through high school.
Yeah. So what was the experience that kind of got you into more of the professional scene?
Well, it was sort of a little bit of a mixed bag. Everybody in my family had gone to the Naval Academy. Not everybody, but it was sort of expected of me. You know, and Dad drove me down there every couple of years to meet the commandant and, you know, check it out. But getting out of high school in '69, it was just a volatile time. You know, Vietnam was at its height, and guys I'd played baseball with, you know, in 10th grade came back from Vietnam and they were nuts and, you know, and,
you're like, don't want to do that.
And they were saying, man, it's so crazy over there. It's just, and I just didn't feel like a soldier. I admired soldiers. And I admired, you know, sailors. But I just felt, you know, I'll entertain the troops. And I did go to college because you either went to college or Vietnam, you know. And I went to college. I went to college very briefly. And while I was there, the lottery came, you know, and they picked your birthday out of it. It's like a Keno game,
stressful.
you know. They pick your birthday. I'm sitting there, you know, we're all sitting there like this, you know, watching TV with a line of guys in the dorm, you know, and we're like, bummer, man, you know. You know, there was one guy, like, there's numbers are going, number 3, August something, and it was this guy, you know, and we're like, you know, we're like, bummer, man.
Oh, my God.
Anyhow, I got a 218, a high number, and I knew the year before they'd gone to 195 and they were de-escalating, so I assumed that I wasn't going to go and be drafted, even though I did go to the draft board. But I just dropped out, and after a couple of whatever, moved into New York City with some of my old high school bandmates. And we started doing open mic nights, you know, at Gertie's Folk City down in Greenwich Village. And this would have been early 1970.
Yeah.
And just trying to do it. I mean, when I called my dad and told him I was going to drop out of college, that was one of the great phone calls of all time.
Oh, gosh.
Or you just kind of like,
Yeah, Dad, I'm wasting your money here, you know. And I was already playing like coffee houses and doing Dylan songs, and you know what I mean.
but you already felt like music was the direction
I
you're
felt
going.
like, even in high school, my dad would, you know, if I got a B in school, my dad would threaten to take my guitar away from me.
That was the
Yeah,
one
he
thing
knew.
that
He
could
saw-
get you with.
He saw rock and
Yeah.
roll as the enemy of my,
Yeah.
you know, and even most of my life, you know, my dad's always thought I wasted my brain because I don't have 2 postgraduate degrees. I mean, we worked it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, I played Carnegie Hall with Bonnie Raitt in 1975, so I was 23 years old.
Wow,
and
so
I
that
called
was
him,
like right after you got like you were doing the little coffee shop things, and then you signed on with that.
well, I lived on brown rice and pancakes for about 4 years. You know what I mean? We were dirt poor.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd go out as a band and get a gig and go home and pay the utility bill, put some food in the refrigerator. I don't think I had a $5 bill in my pocket for like 4 years. you know?
yeah, but you just kept going, and then you got
But
signed on.
We had to. And I would tell my dad in high school, he'd just say, you know, it's your attitude or it's this or it's whatever. And I would say, Dad, I am not doing this to meet girls. I'm not doing this even for significance. I feel like if I don't, something's broken. There's something I am that has to manifest. Even before I could have possibly known anything, there was still something in me that
And
went,
there's
that's what I
people
do.
who go through their whole lives that don't know what they want to do. I can't imagine that. Like, I feel like, you know, this is something that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I
you know?
do too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that. And but there was no other option for you. It was only music.
Yeah, Dad, when I said, Dad, I'm wasting your money, I'm going to drop out of school.
Yeah.
He was like deadly silent, you know. And,
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? And I went, I'm going to play music. Dead silence.
I bet though deep down he just knew.
No,
Yeah.
he just said, why don't you enlist in the Navy? And I said, I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh man.
And so anyway, you know, that's how we did it with a bunch of guys. And we had an efficiency apartment in New York City and just trying to see.
Yeah.
I'm a Texan by heritage. My dad born there, mom born there, grandparents, great grandparents, you know, buried.
Yeah. What part of Texas?
My mother's side is from, well, my maternal grandparents are buried in Tyler.
Okay.
Oh, I know where Tyler is.
But it's the rose capital of Texas. And but he was born in Graham, which is where my father was born.
Okay.
And where my granddad's buried and where my Aunt Mary still lives at 101.
Wow.
And
So Graham is where I need to go.
yeah, Graham.
Yeah.
It's out by Possum Kingdom Lake.
I worked at a summer camp out there for 2 summers. I love
See?
that lake.
I love that lake.
Love that lake.
Did you cliff dive?
I did.
I bet you did.
I did. And there was always these legends of these catfish that were like the size of buses.
Oh, yeah,
and we would put peanut butter on our toes and go like this, and then a fish would come up with squeal and be like, oh my God, the big catfish.
And it's red snapper. I mean, it's a great
it's great
sportsman's
fishing.
lake.
Yeah, my grandpa actually was the director of main camp out there for the YMCA. There was a couple of different camps, and he was the director for the boys camp. And so we always went out there as campers. I mean, that's where I spent my summers.
Well, how about that?
I know, that's
She's
crazy.
a
Small world.
Texan, too.
I'm a Texan too. Yeah.
Well, see, but, you know, when Dad came back, he was where the aircraft carriers were in
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida. So I went to a lot of school in Jacksonville, Orange Park, that area over there. And then Dad got out of active duty, stayed in the reserve, commander of a squadron, but became a test pilot on Long Island, New
Where?
York. So as a sophomore in high school, Dad moved us to Long Island, New
Yeah.
York, which was
That's
culture
like-
shock to me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's a whole different
I
scene.
mean, I said yes, sir, and yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
and please, and when the first time I ever said yes, ma'am, to my future new stepmother, she was like, "Don't call me ma'am." Apparently, it was insulting.
That's what we would say too.
It was insulting.
Well,
or something.
anytime I get called ma'am, I feel like my whole body just ages.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like, no.
I wondered if it was connected with madam or something, and she thought I was putting her, you know, she owned a brothel or whatever.
No, it makes you feel-
I think it just
yeah.
makes you feel old.
I was at Auburn
Yeah.
this weekend, and a kid in the tent we were at, and he's like, "Okay, sorry, ma'am," and I'm like, "Don't
See?
Yeah.
call me ma'am."
Well, I was raised, yes, sir, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am,
I
please,
know.
thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
It was very polite, but it made me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be young. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, well,
You're in the
I was
stadium.
young. I was 14 when we moved up there
Yeah.
Okay.
and went into my sophomore year in high school, and thankfully grew 8 inches in 10 months. And I mean,
That probably got you girls more than the music
Yeah.
did. That height will do something. I'm just saying.
That and my sense of humor. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are really
Yeah,
funny.
you are
You're
funny.
Well, I appreciate you thinking so. There's a lot of funny stuff flying around. I think it's just recognizing it.
Yeah.
And if you don't laugh, you cry these days. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
Or
so-
you laugh until you cry.
Yeah.
And I've done that too.
Mm-hmm.
I did
Same.
both today.
Yeah. She did.
There you go. I
Well-rounded.
may be in there too. You know? But so we moved up to New York, and I instantly met a bunch of guys that
Yeah.
were, you know, the guys hanging out on the edge of the school grounds, you know, the sort of outcasts. I had the longest hair on the I was an athlete,
Yeah.
and I was a varsity player in a couple of sports, baseball and soccer. Played soccer at college, actually.
Oh, wow.
Aw.
And loved running, loved just being active
Yeah.
and an athlete. But I always had the longest hair on the sports team and the shortest hair in my band.
Yeah.
And Dad fought me. Haircuts were a serious
Oh, I bet he
business. with
hated
my-
that.
He just
Yeah.
loved to, you know, he'd buzz the hair off the sides where you could see the moles, you know.
Yeah.
Ah,
And so anyhow, but I finished high school in New York, and as I said, went away for a little while. University of Denver. I loved Colorado. When my dad was moving us to New York, he sent us off for the summer, and I lived in a Conestoga wagon at 8,800 feet for 2 months.
Wow.
And it was like an outward bound kind of a camp
Yeah.
where we shot guns and did 3-day horse rides. I rode junior rodeo, and it was really an
Yeah.
interesting summer, you know.
See, whatever happened to that? Sending
Yeah.
kids off
They
this summer
still
for
do it.
camps.
They-
do they do
Yeah, well,
it?
do
this
it.
camp
It-
was serious.
Yeah. Well, they do it. It's
Oh.
just, it costs like $3,000 a week. So.
Yeah, right. Stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know.
like how it used to be.
Yeah, no, it probably was about that much back then too. But
Yeah.
I was subsidized by my dear Aunt Lois,
Yeah.
Aw.
and then actually the biggest jerk at the camp all summer long was this guy from New York. And Dad sends us a letter and says we're moving to New York, and it was
You're like,
heartbreaking.
great.
Great. Is everybody like that guy?
Oh, man.
Because you know everybody was quick. Hey, sure, what? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd, you know, say, this kid talks funny, you know. I think, you think I talk funny. But you know, finished high school and stayed in the great Northeast for
Yeah.
a while. And we moved around to where the clubs were, and we moved down to DC as a band and moved up to Boston as a band.
Yeah.
And it was just a real vibrant local scene. And you could play blues. You didn't have to be a pop band. You didn't have to be a cover band.
Yeah.
You could write your own stuff and play these clubs. And I actually
Yeah.
met Bonnie in one of those clubs.
That's what I was about to say. When did
Yeah.
you meet her? Like,
Yeah.
when did
Well,
you start?
Her manager was an amazing guy. His name was Dick Waterman. And he was a photojournalist, but he was a manager. He got interested in some of the early blues guys and went and sought out some Sun House.
Yeah.
And he was the one that found him, like in Rochester or something, and brought him to the Newport Festival there and managed Mississippi Fred McDowell.
Yeah.
And when young Bonnie Raitt was at Radcliffe, you know, in the Boston area and starting to play and all that,
Yeah.
he introduced Bonnie to Fred McDowell.
Okay.
And that's where she got her slide
Yeah.
thing going, you know. And I'm oversimplifying.
Yeah.
But she loved Boston. She loved Boston, was there all the time. And so I could stay in Boston even after I started with her, and we'd start West Coast. She'd fly me to the West Coast, and the drummer
Yeah.
lived in upstate New York too. So we'd all fly to the West Coast and start our, you know, rehearse and do our
Yeah.
tours there. But about half the tours I did with her started on the East Coast, and she'd fly to Boston. We'd rehearse in Boston, and the best routed tours ever in history. We'd play like, you know, Portland, Boston, New Haven, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC, Richmond. I mean, you know,
So did you do it like everybody does, like get on a bus with all these guys?
we'd get
and
on a
just
bus
tour?
with all these guys and
Yeah.
Bonnie.
See, that would be so much fun.
And when you're young, you know, I started with her when I was 22.
Wow.
And you know, I'd made $10 a night and all the beer I could drink in these clubs. Well, I got a little ahead of myself. Dick started showing up at my gigs. I was just playing little,
Yeah.
you know, gigs. And he was an odd duck. He would wear like a Clint Eastwood type of a flat hat, and he had a Fu Manchu and a black leather vest, and he'd smoke rum-soaked cigars. And And he'd just look at me and he'd leave before the end of the set. And I never met him, actually. And one night he just showed up in front of the band with Bonnie and just sat down in the front 2 chairs. And because I knew who she was. I had seen her in concert open for Little Feat and Paul Butterfield's Better Days.
Wow.
And I was a fan. I'd had her first 2 records. And she just jumped up at the end of the last song. We're going to take a break. And she was, well, introduce me. And so we just talked and sat at the bar and talked. And she had to go back to the West Coast. And a couple of months later, they called me on the phone and said, and I think, she could have gotten anybody, but Dick was like, I've been following this guy. I think he'd be a good fit. I don't think you need a whole lot of hot rods in your band. You just need somebody who
someone who's just good and talented.
And doesn't overplay. I mean, I get hired for what I leave out. I don't know that much, but I know what not to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot like life.
It really is.
You don't always know what to do, but you almost always know what not to do.
Yes. Sometimes we do it anyways, but
but we know.
I know.
Dabble in the not to do's.
And so we just talked, and she flew me out to LA. And I had gotten the management had sent me a song list of the songs I had to learn, but I thought, I'm not relying on that. I am learning every single song on all her records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so we got out there and she'd say, first rehearsal was like, well, do you know Under the Fallen Sky? And I'd go,
sure do.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Do you know Stayed Too Long at the Fair? Yes, I do. Do you know Love Has No Pride? Yes. Do you know Angel from Montgomery? And she just said, that was the easiest for her. She was just, and I think I got the gig because I really did my homework. I just really, and the first tour was the Late for the Sky tour with Jackson Browne.
Oh, okay.
So it was Bonnie and Jackson.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were on the same bus together, played a lot of poker with Jackson Browne.
Yeah.
And we just...
and he was just here, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he just was.
I was going to say he was just here.
That was the best festival sound I have ever heard.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of it's because their stage volume was perfect.
Yeah.
Every note was pristine. He was great. He was great, and it sounded great.
It did.
Yeah, we saw a lot of posts about it.
It was fantastic. And it was great to retouch bass. Jackson and I got to talk a little and catch back up.
That's really cool.
And it's funny because on my way walking backstage, somebody asked if I was Jackson. I guess the white beard, But yeah, we went out and did 50 cities. And by the end of the tour, he's inviting me out on stage to do the encore, and we're all becoming
that's so
friends.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nobody was actually, for a couple of days, they were a little reserved around me because I thought she hired some 22-year-old kid out of a bar in, Cambridge.
Yeah.
And everybody was waiting to see if I made the cut, But after a while, we were just good friends. As a matter of fact, David Lindley, who's an iconic lap steel player. He's the guy on Running on Empty doing the the beautiful high lyrical lap steel playing. And David could see I wasn't ready for prime time yet and took me out shopping, and we bought some amazing stuff, and
So he dressed you.
Yeah.
he
Styled you.
No, he didn't style my clothes. He found guitars I needed.
Okay.
And an amp I should have been playing.
So
for.
that's what you were
I
not
see.
prepared for.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think I still looked okay.
Yeah.
All I've worn for 50 years anyway is jeans, boots, and a shirt.
Yeah. He wanted to get you up the par
I was
with the
sitting there thinking,
equipment.
Will, now what did you look like there?
I was just sort of scattered. I had long hair parted in the middle, and sort of unkempt, and my ears stuck through
That's
it.
what got Janet going.
Yeah.
Must have been.
Were you on tour with her or with Bonnie when you met?
Yes, I was.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and then I want to hear that story because that's one of my favorites.
Well,
Yes.
you'll hear it then.
Yes.
All right.
And a little break.
Okay.
All right. And
Oh,
we're
that was
back.
in sync.
Yeah.
That was good. So you met Janet.
Yes. Tell
And
us
for
about
people who
Janet.
don't know,
Janet's the most beautiful woman in the world.
She really is.
Golly.
She really is. Like, I took a picture with her, like, last year at Fame's 65th anniversary thing. I'm like, oh, my God. I can see the resemblance. Maybe? No? When I'm her age, I will look like that. I'm speaking it into
There you go.
existence.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes.
Actually, there's a Harvard study I just heard this morning
Ooh,
that
what's
came out. Speaking to your body is actually an incredible healing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do that. I mean, when I went through what I went through, I was like, I can be sad or whatever, but I'm going to be hot.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
I'm
really
gonna say,
hot.
don't crash out today. You got this.
Yeah, you got this. You got this.
That's funny. Well, meeting Janet, I lived in the New England area, and I knew most of the musicians, especially after I got the gig with Bonnie. I'd come home off the road and put bands together, and I played locally all the time. And a lot of musicians in town sat in with my band, or I'd sit in with other bands, and we had a little community too, you know.
Yeah.
And so I knew a lot of musicians, and Janet did too, apparently, but I didn't know Janet. But I was on the road with Bonnie, and we were playing in wherever Colby is, New Hampshire or something like that. We were playing a college gig, and Janet had gone up there because her brother lived up there. This band had a gig up there, but when they got there, the gig was canceled. It may have even been weather related, and her brother was sick, and so they had nothing to do. And the guy in the band, who was a friend of mine, said, well, Bonnie Raitt's playing over at the college. Maybe I can get us all in. So I get a knock at the back door, and it was Elliot in a band called the Outer Space Band. And he had his whole band, so there were 7 of them plus Janet. And if it hadn't been a college gym, I probably couldn't have done it. You know what I mean? But the fact that it was just a gym and you could come stand on the floor or whatever. So I went to, the road manager, can I get 8 people in last minute,
Yeah.
And Janet came through. And Janet at the time had her hair parted in the middle. It was down to about her waist. And rose-colored glasses like aviator shades. And she had a blue jean jacket on with her Zodiac sign embroidered on the back. And she was just a hippie dream.
Oh, I love it.
This sounds like
Yes.
She was like a hippie dream.
And I love how you remember every detail of seeing her for the first time.
It was provocative. Not because it was sexually provocative.
Yeah.
It was just...
Her vibe.
You were mesmerized.
I was just like, wow, and at one point, so they came to the show, and afterwards we all went out to a club actually and sat in. Back in the day, I mean, Bonnie was great. We'd find a blues band playing and sit in and do Love Me Like a Man or something. Can you imagine Bonnie Raitt walking into Flobama and, and sitting in with my band? You know? It was like that. And went back to the hotel, and we were all hanging around. And when it was time for them to go, they all split like real quickly to give me a chance, to because I had asked.
Bro code.
Yeah, bro code.
So I was sitting I was sitting maybe next to Janet at the bar, and she got up to whatever, and I turned to one of the guys and went, "Is she with any of you guys?"
Oh.
Just making sure.
And the guy went, "No." So anyway, we go back to the hotel, and they all split real quickly. And Janet likes to say it was like she had had a glass of water, and when it was time to go, I was like, "Well, I hate to see you go, but we were cool.
Yeah.
There was no rock star, nothing.
Yeah.
And she left, and when she was halfway down the stairs, she went, "Oh, I have your glass." And she sees it as meaningful. She handed me her empty glass.
Oh.
And I took it, and then we didn't see each other for months. That was just a one-night meeting. And so she lived in Cambridge, and I didn't know that, but I lived in Cambridge too. She didn't know where I lived, nothing. But when I got home off the road, I put my band together, and we were getting ready to play at Jack's. And Janet was bummed out because her boyfriend had just kicked her out. So she's at her girlfriend's house, and she says, "Well, there's this band playing down the road." And Janet goes, "I don't want to go to see a band." She goes, "This guy named Will McFarlane." She went, "I've met Will McFarlane." And so she came out that night.
Oh.
And I don't usually tell Janet's side of the story, but she says she waited around. She was going to leave, and she was just going to leave after the first set. And I was at the bar getting a beer, and she came up just to tap me on the shoulder to say, Hi, good to see you again. Mm-hmm. And she said when I turned around, I was just glorified. Like I was lit up like a bright light.
Yes.
And she felt it was God just saying, "Pay attention."
Aww.
And I looked at her, and I remembered her face, but I didn't remember the circumstances. I was a little spacey on that because I'd already done maybe another couple of dozen gigs since then.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at her and just staring at her, and we're trying to figure it out. And everybody went out in the alley and maybe had a little bit of a hit. And on the way back in, it just all hit me. And I went, "I remember you."
Oh,
the Zodiac jean jacket.
And to make a long story short, I was actually dating another girl at the time, and,
who
but not
cares?
seriously.
Yeah.
But I was just smitten again. And so the next morning, I mean, she went home. Next morning, I was at her apartment.
Oh.
And we took a motorcycle ride, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we were out all day. Well, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We dated for about 10 days. That's what it was. We dated for about 10 days, and I went back out on the road and went to England. And we
Wow.
were gone 3 weeks, and I came home and she wasn't in town. And I realized how Bonnie had given me a chance of staying in a hotel in Central Park in New York
Yeah.
or going back to Boston. And so I said, I think I was downplaying. I think I'll go back to Boston, because I realized the only reason I wanted to go back to
Was for
Boston was
her.
to see her. And when she wasn't there, Janet says that's when the hook went in.
Yeah.
I went back out on the road for 4 weeks, and I came home, and that was the motorcycle ride. And we went out to Concord, you know, Lake, and we're riding all out there, and went skinny dipping,
Yeah.
and then had a dinner party that night. And in the middle of the dinner party, I just walked upstairs and walked in the kitchen. She always helps people clean up after
Yeah.
the party. She's just the helpful one. And I just looked at her and I said, I've got this figured out. We should get married. And she turned around. I went, wait a minute. That was terribly unromantic. There was no romance in that at all. And I went, would you marry me? But I don't want to screw it up. I like what we have. I just thought I'd let you know. And I'm backing out of the room. I'm backing out of the room. And at the door, I went, I just thought I'd let you know that the opportunity was available.
It's like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
And went downstairs, and I was shooting pool. And about 5 minutes later, when she'd finished cleaning she must have thought about it for a while, came down, brought me a beer, and just said, sure.
Oh.
Who's crazier?
I don't know, because I'm crying right now. Probably me, but
But
you know,
so
you just don't
sweet.
hear that kind of stuff nowadays.
well, I went back
And if you
out-
do, you're like, oh man, five
Well,
stage cleaner.
nowadays
You know?
it's just so many games, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and then like, you know, everyone's scared, and it's like it sounds like you and her and Janet just went into it so fearless,
Yeah.
you know, and just y'all just knew immediately and
I
just went
guess.
with it.
We're
I mean,
crazy.
I've had connections like that, but
Yeah. Yeah,
just never right time.
I think
guess.
people complicate it
Things,
so much
yeah.
these days, and y'all just kept it real simple.
Well, she kept it simple. She tells people, you know, I didn't need to buy her a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She made it as simple. Well, I had to go back out on. Well, actually, I got deathly ill from that day. I rode the bike out that night, and the temperature dropped 40
God.
degrees.
Oh my
and-
gosh.
Yeah.
And I just was, I had a fever of 103, 104, woke up
gosh.
delirious the next morning. And she was like, do you remember what you asked me last night? And I said, yeah.
real?
I'd
said,
be like
yeah.
that. Are you taking that
Yeah.
back? Because you can't take
Yeah,
that
you
back.
can't take it back now.
And I said, yeah, I remember. And so for about 4 days, she was trying to nurse me. You know, I vaguely remember coming in and out of consciousness, and then had to go back out on the road. And I had such laryngitis, I didn't call her for a month.
You had COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had COVID.
That's right. Well, I went to 4 emergency rooms. I went to one a week. And one guy told me I had pleurisy. Another one told me I had mono. Another one told me I had tracheal bronchitis. Another one told me I had pneumonia. So
And
I
at
was
the
a
end of
sick,
the day, you were just sick.
I was just sick. They all told me I had something else and couldn't talk on the phone. I was like that. You know. Finally, when I got a little voice back, I called her and she said, well, you know, your birthday's June 6th. And how about the next weekend? And it was June 12th. And I got home and married her 12 days later. And we added up all the days that we'd actually been in each other's presence over the course of 3 months. And it was 27 days. I think the day we got married was the 27th day I'd ever been in the same room with her.
Wow.
And we got married under a tree in her dad's backyard.
I love that.
That's so cute.
And all our hippie friends were standing around like, why do you have to register your love with the government? I tell that joke because it's not a joke. It's true.
They,
That's hilarious.
They have a point.
And so we got married.
I love it. I love
and,
that.
And we're the last two of that whole crowd still standing. you
Yeah.
know.
Such a romantic
It is.
story.
It
Such
is.
a romantic
So
story.
we just had our 49th.
Wow. And then both of y'all live here,
We do.
live in town. So kind of what brought you to the Shoals?
Well, I would hang out. Janet and I were actually hanging by a thread in LA. We hated LA and we had 2 separate lives. And she'd become a believer and would go to church. And I was like, you know, putting half my money. I don't, you know,
Yeah.
a little toxic there.
Well,
And,
she can admit it.
And I was at the Troubadour one night hanging out with Duncan Cameron, who was working here in Muscle Shoals all the time. He was with the Amazing Rhythm Aces at the time, but he went out with Sawyer Brown. Just one of the great guitar players that's ever been through this town. Great player. And Duncan said, man, I got somebody you got to meet, you know. And it was Mike Barnett, who was managing the studio here and the record label. And Mike came over and we were talking. He said, I got somebody you got to meet. And Jimmy Johnson was out in L.A.
Wow.
And I owe Jimmy so much. Because I went into his hotel room at the Sunset Marquee, and he acted initially a little put out. Well, I guess I'll meet this guy, whatever. You know, he just wanted to watch, you know, he's just chilling in his hotel room. He said, well, play me something. So I played him a song I'd written. I'd brought a guitar. I played him a song I'd written, and Jimmy's whole thing changed. He went, well, play me something I don't like. I'll never forget that. Well, play me something I don't like.
Yeah.
And I played him a few more songs. He said, I want to demo those. Would you come to Muscle Shoals?
Heck yeah.
And it was February of 1980. I'd quit Bonnie's band New Year's Eve, 1980.
Wow.
Because I was just fried. I was just burnt. And Janet and I were, you know, and I had two little babies. Jamie and Nellie were, you know, not even, they were 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I was just fried. And he flew me down here.
Wow.
And we came right into this room.
Yeah.
Wow.
This
Crazy.
room. And the band he put together was Roger Hawkins, David Hood, Randy McCormick, Clayton Ivey, Mac McAnally, and Duncan Cameron.
I mean, just legends.
I know. I
here.
got chills.
I know. Wow.
And I had never seen a number chart, but as soon as I saw it, that's how I thought. That it was such a natural
That's
to me.
crazy.
And Clayton just wrote it out, and I went, I think it was Clayton. It could have been Randy. Randy used to write
Yeah, he
charts
used to
with a
chart a lot.
calligraphy pen.
Wow.
And it looks like
Wow.
Renaissance music. It's
So
his
cool.
charts were beautiful, as were Barry Beckett's. As were, you know, Clayton would write a whole 5-minute song in about 3 inches of the page. You know,
Wow.
I love Clayton Ivey. My
Maybe
gosh.
you know the story behind this.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, there's somebody wrote on the side of this, and it says, "Let's have a meeting, Ray," and then it says, "We'll take lunch, Jimmy." I don't know who Ray is,
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool.
it could have been his dad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Some
Ooh.
sort of backstory to that.
Could have been his
yeah.
dad. But so anyway, they flew me down here. The last Bonnie Raitt record I'd done was done with Paul Rothchild, and he'd make us take 20 passes of every song and cut and
Yeah,
splice the tape. So we come down here, we sort of look at the chart, we run it down a little, and Jimmy goes, well, it don't cost no extra to hit a red light. And we just played it through once. It felt great. And at the end of it, Jimmy goes, any confessions? I turned to David Hood and I went, you keep first takes around here? He goes,
oh wow,
he goes all the time.
yeah,
Dang.
And I flew back to LA and gave everybody notice. And I said, I'm moving
I'm
to
done.
Alabama. And they were all
Wow.
like, you're crazy. You're throwing away. I just started getting some calls. Like I did some of the playing on the Urban Cowboy soundtrack.
Oh, I love that movie.
I played on Darlin' and Don't It Make You Want to Dance
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're getting movie calls, and
Yeah.
I wasn't a first call guy in LA, but I was a guy they would call if they couldn't get James Burton, maybe, because I had
Yeah.
a Telecaster and I had a little country soul in me, and I
Yeah.
wasn't a real.
So you were a perfect fit here,
Yeah.
I was a perfect fit here.
and we're very thankful for Jimmy Johnson.
Well, he brought me here. He landed that first song we demoed with McGuinn Hillman, who were in here recording at the time with Jerry Wexler.
Yeah,
And they cut my first song, and I thought, my God, I just came down there, demoed a song, and get cut.
it's this easy.
This is easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I flew back to LA, gave everybody notice, moved down here, and to make a long story short, Jimmy just started to include me. Everything he produced, he brought me in on. Everything Roger produced, he brought me in on. And then, you know,
And then
ultimately,
you were home.
I was. I also, I mean, I wanted to be a dad. You know,
Yeah.
Janet will tell people I sacrificed, you know, my career for my family. I'm not so sure that's all. I was that altruistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You wanted to be a dad.
I did want to be
Yeah.
a dad. My dad was not always present. You know,
Yeah.
he'd go away
Yeah.
for a year. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, he was
Right.
a Navy guy. So, and we never really, you know, we didn't play catch in the yard.
Yeah. Well, this area is great for families.
Oh, You could get out of an Etta James session to be standing on third base coaching Little League in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of y'all did that back
we
then.
did. Oh, yeah. I remember running. Gary Baker was a great Little League coach. I mean, there were a bunch of us around here that were out
I
of
think Rick Hall did the same thing.
We were all out of the ballparks and running into each other. And you can't do anything in 10 minutes in L.A. I mean, you can't do anything in an hour. I couldn't have gotten to a ball game in an hour.
Yeah.
So it was a great place to just dig in, Malico bought the studio a few years after I was here, and they were bringing us Johnnie Taylor and Bobby Bland, and so I was doing R&B records, and
you had the best of both worlds.
I was able to make music with great players, with great people, and still be home for dinner a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And
with your babies.
It was just, I staked my claim here. The only reason I moved away for those years is sound closed. And there were just other extenuating circumstances that I realized that I had some offers that would have supported me in North Carolina, but I was never as happy up there. I just kept looking for a way out, but I got stuck. I bought a house and the market went crazy. 2008 crashed and everything. And it was just tough to get out of it, to make my way back here. But I made my way back, 15 years ago.
Well, we're happy
never
you did.
regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
And then Jimmy included me by his great grace. The guys included me in the induction into the Musicians Hall of Fame, which is amazing. It's amazing to me.
Well, it's amazing to be in that group of people.
Yeah.
It just is.
An honorary swamper.
I am. It's interesting. They inducted us as a friend of the Swampers. And I went in with Spooner and Clayton and Pete Carr and Randy McCormick. And I was just actually out in Rogersville playing at a new restaurant out there, which I really liked, the Lee Street Cafe. And Randy McCormick was sitting. He was sitting at the counter.
I love that. I know. I just love the networks and the connections here, and just everyone that I'm meeting through this podcast. I mean, it's just so cool.
It is. It's unique. It really is. It's funny. One of the black tie events we did here, it was either an Alabama Hall of Fame or it was something, maybe Beehive came down here. I love Christine, and she came down here and we did like a tribute to Jerry Wexler or something. It was something like that. Becca Bramlett was here, and she was here with a bit of a posse. Like there were a bunch of guys in her band or whatever that came down, and everybody at the end of the show, we weren't realizing, but everybody's hugging everybody and kisses and hugs and everything. And this really hip-looking young guy just sort of forlornly just sort of looked and went, man, we don't have this.
Yeah.
And I felt for the kid, know? And I'm sure there are pockets of beautiful community in Nashville, but
I don't feel like it
here.
is here.
I
really don't.
Here.
This is special here. It really is.
It's more intimate, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
People
and our kids know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave Patterson Hood a guitar lesson when he was 16. You know what I mean? There's history here that, and every time I do a session, just played with all the guys, and I realized, man, I did my first session with him 45 years ago.
That's
I did
crazy.
my first record with him 40 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you look around and all you can be is grateful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Grateful and blessed.
I know.
But I do have a question for you.
Hit me up.
Okay. You ready? If you were a stripper, what would your song be?
That's ridiculous because I made it.
That's ridiculous.
Because the time in my life that I made my father laugh harder than he ever has. And my dad made it till almost 90. And so he's an older guy, and I don't know even why I said it, we were whatever. I'd gotten back maybe from a beach trip or something like that. And he said, how'd it go? And I said, I don't know, Dad. I think I finally crossed some line where I just might look better with my clothes on.
I remember.
And he lost it. He lost it laughing. And so I've the idea that if I were a stripper, I would have a theme song. I don't know. I guess the song that even if it starts as Muzak in the dairy aisle of Publix and I'm standing there next to Janet, if My Girl starts.
I love that.
That would be a good one.
I got sunshine.
Yes.
And if I still think that's just unbelievable.
I'm sure Janet.
And
does
Janet, I'll
that.
just take Janet in my arms. We'll dance a little down the
Aw.
dairy aisle.
Gosh, y'all are so just dreamy.
Well, we're not that good at dance, or I'm sure people go, what? You know.
I know, but the affection
No,
with y'all is so
that's
cute.
so sweet.
I know it's so
That is so
sweet.
sweet. Mhm.
Wow.
What would yours be, Tyra?
I'd be more interested in this than you would be in mine.
I love yours though. I love it.
I know that's really sweet. I'm in love with a stripper.
I'm in love
With a stripper, she rock and she roll and something.
Yeah.
It's a T-Pain song.
Yeah.
Okay.
T-Pain.
Ain't it T-Pain?
I think so.
I think it's
When
T-Pain.
I'm watching
really sure.
Jeopardy, I never know any modern answers.
Phone a friend. Call me. I'll know.
I don't know. While you were talking though, before you even said your song, I was like, what is my song today?
I
'cause
totally didn't know.
yeah,
You asked me first. I
and
was like, well, crap.
I quickly thought of Paula Abdul.
Oh yeah,
Straight up,
That's
that's
him.
I don't know
That'd
why.
be a good
It's not
one.
even it's not
That's a
even a
good
great
one.
like stripper song, but that's what popped in my head, so that's what we're going with today.
Yes.
It would be.
Paula
It would
Abdul.
be the visual thought of me being one is so obtrusive. I don't think I
mean,
don't want to stay
I
here
like
long.
how I like how you gave the visual of you and your wife dancing in the Publix aisle. Better.
Yes. I think it's a funny way of asking what song gets you
Yeah.
going. Like what
Yeah.
song makes you want to move?
Yeah.
I have different ones for different needs. You know, there's like before every trip we used to go on, you know, as a family, I would punch in this Jude Cole song called Start the Car,
I love
which
it.
just really got me into my trip. Start the car. You know, we got to move.
got you into it.
And
yeah.
it just got me into it. So when I
Yeah.
was leaving on a trip, it was Start the Car.
Yeah.
But I love
love
how
it.
sweet it is to be loved by you.
Oh, I love that song.
I like it the
gosh.
Marvin Gaye version. Of course, I love James'
Yeah.
version too.
So dreamy.
Yeah.
But I love Marvin Gaye's
So
version
dreamy.
of that song. And
Yeah.
I just like so much music.
I do too.
we are so happy that you
Yes.
were able to do this with us today.
Well, I was honored to be asked.
Yeah.
You are a beautiful soul
Beautiful soul.
with a beautiful wife.
Big heart.
Yes.
Yes.
And we love you.
Yeah, we loved every second of this. I'm so glad we
this
got
is
to learn about
delightful.
you. All right. Well, and and we're gonna have all your friends on soon.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
Jamie's already sat down with us.
I know,
so,
yeah.
I bet you he's a good storyteller.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a good storyteller.
He's
Yeah.
He was fun.
He's animated.
Yeah.
He can let it fly. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on, and
Well,
we'll
thank
see y'all
you.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I love that.
That was good.